All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our 21st webinar. We can't believe we've done 21 already. And just to give you a few stats, you know, we've had over 14,000 people register for these webinars so far from 87 different countries. There's only 195 countries in the world, so we've nearly done half the countries in the world on these webinars. So a big thank you for supporting us. And we've got quite a big loyal gathering. The amount of people say we've watched every single one of those webinars, so it's great to see you all again, and welcome to this new one. This is all about preparing the stallion for the stud season, especially the younger stallion. We've got a new format tonight, which makes it a little bit more exciting. I hope it'll go well, we never know. And tonight we're not going to do a PowerPoint at the end. We're actually going to start interjecting videos halfway through the PowerPoint just to show you, sorry, not PowerPoint, through the webinar, just to see, showing you how things go. So we're going to do it as we go along. Anyway, we've got our expert panels as always, and there's no way I could do this on my own at all. So tonight we're joined yet again by popular demand every time coming back. It's Bart Cools from Shocker Mother Stud. He's got a big surprise for you tonight, really showing some amazing videos and how he trains the stallion to the dummy mare. So just wait on that, because they are quite brilliant, these videos that he's done. And his knowledge on the breeding world, as we know, is second to none. He collects off 20, 30, 40 stallions a day sometimes, which is quite incredible. We've got Desiree from Holland, and she's obviously been great at being on these webinars for some time. Absolutely phenomenal. She's been working in the reproduction industry for many, many years now. And again, there's nothing she doesn't done. She goes around the studs, teaching people how to collect off stallions and all the ways. She really does know everything about the stallion, semen quality, freezing, and extenders and everything else. We're also great to be joined tonight by one of our sponsors tonight, Kate Hoare, who is a senior nutritionist for NAF. So thank you. And she's going to give a small presentation about the stallion fertility supplement that we have here. As always, we have Faye on the questions, wearing the hat tonight. We're allowed to go past the 2 meter rule now, so we're okay.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yes, I know. I think you quite liked it when we kept our distance, didn't you?
No.
But anyway, so we've got Faye, so get those questions coming in. We'd love to hear from you, and we can answer those questions as we go. We always like to hear where you're calling us from, and we'll try and give you a bit of a shout out if you're from America, Australia, New Zealand. As I say, 86 different countries we've done so far, which is quite phenomenal. But we couldn't run these webinars without the sponsors. So it's really important that we get good sponsors. If you want to sponsor this, we're all open to ideas. If you want to come along, put your name forward. So we've got some great sponsors tonight. We've got NAF, 30 years experience in the industry, the only official supplier of supplements and care products for the British equestrian team. So Kate Hoare is going to talk all about the stallion 5-star fertility that we have here as well later. So we thank NAF for obviously supporting us tonight. We've got Mini2. Mini2 products are second to none when it comes to artificial insemination. You know, the AI catheters they produce and everything else, it's quite outstanding. They're the world leading supplier of systems across the field of assisted reproduction and a comprehensive range of products and services as well for embryo transfer and other related. Also, as you can see tonight, wearing the hats is from Nidacom. Thank you, Nidacom, for the hats. I don't know whether pink suits me or not. Well, put that in the questions. We should have had that as a poll question, actually. Does pink suit me or not? So, okay, might get some funny questions on that or answers on that one. But Nidacom, we've used their products in the laboratory, and I have to admit they've revolutionized some of the stallions and made it possible to freeze stallions that we can never normally freeze before. So we're going to go talk a little bit about that, but they are market for medical devices and assisted reproductive technologies as well in IVF, ICSI, artificial insemination as well. So thank you for supporting us. We have got some amazing giveaways tonight. I mean, truly amazing. But one caveat with that, you've got to be here right to the end to get the giveaway. So that's the only thing. So we've got 5 lucky winners, not just one. We've got 5 lucky winners. I've got a stallion care package for the Mini2 5-star fertility, but we'll come on to that a bit later. So if you stay around, and a 5-star Superflex. That's right, isn't it, tonight? So you've got that. And this will help the stallions, obviously, during the breeding season. Also, we've got some hats to give away. So from Nidacom, I've sent those some hats. So some lucky winners will have, and we're throwing a couple of sperm key rings. I think we can do that as well, can't we? So stay on tonight. So what is on tonight? It's one of the things is how to prepare your stallion for the breeding season. And I'm going to ask Desiree and Bart in a minute how important this is. We're going to look at the importance of stabling and exercise, dummy training, feed supplements, fitness, pre-purchase assessments, and semen assessments, extended tests, and handling, obviously, these new stallions. So we're going to cover a wide range of topics tonight, which is going to be great. As I say, these ones we don't put on this for profit whatsoever. It puts a lot of time and effort into this. But one thing we do ask for you, because you don't pay a penny to watching, if you have enjoyed it, please, there's a QR code at the end, or we'll send you a link. All the money goes to charity, which is the charity Nature Safe that we run here. So if you can put a £5 in, I'd really, really appreciate that, because every single bit goes to helping save animals from extinction. And a lot of the technologies all come from actually the equine side. Well, that's enough of the webinar. We come on in and we're going to speak to EJ. But just we're going to put, I think, one poll question right at the beginning, just to ask question, is this your stallion's first time at stud? Have you got a stallion that watching tonight for the very first time, that you're preparing for the stud season? It's just a simple poll question. Is a 1 for a yes, 2 for no, or 3 not really applicable. So I'll be just trying to gauge whether it's your first time in here. So anyway, we'll come into the stable, and this is EJ. EJ's been with us for how many years? How many years?
9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
God, you nearly got the Rolex watch. God, that's going to cost me. Nearly 10 years. So,
yes,
and which stallion have we got here tonight?
This is Spring Pond Merriman.
Oh, we were speaking to the owners earlier, weren't
yes,
we?
lovely lady.
Caroline?
Annabelle.
Jenks.
Yes.
Annabelle Jenks. Hi, Annabelle, if you're watching tonight. I haven't had a lot to do with your boy, but apparently he's been very, very good.
Oh, he's absolute star.
And it's his first time here. Did he go on the dummy stuff?
Yes, I think he's been on the dummy. Yeah.
So, but he seems nice and quiet.
Yes.
And else,
he's really good.
So I think Bart, I think it'd be quite good just to throw this question straight over to you. How important what do you do to prepare your stallions for the stud season? Because do you just bring them out and on the first request of semen, or do you actually prepare them quite a bit beforehand? I mean, how important do you think it is?
So first of all, if we get them inside, we check how their behavior is in the stable, that they feel fine, that they have good neighbors, that they are happy to do, so they feel fine. We see how they are, make them feel good. Then we put them on, we have the lights of the lumen from Ireland. So in the beginning of the season, at this time of the year, we make the lights on 17 hours a day so that they get more light. And we look at all the stallions that they are good in the stable, and then we start slowly to prepare them for the collection. We make the swaps, we look at them that they are clean and everything is well done. And then finally, if we know everything is okay, we start slowly with the collection.
Yeah, we'll come on to the other things as well, like you say, the swabs, because obviously you've got to make sure the stallions are clean. But EJ, you've been doing this a while. In fact, we get about 120 stallions through, so they're all different shapes and sizes. Yeah. I mean, how important is it to have? Well, this guy's pretty chilled out. So, how important is it to get them chilled out? And what sort of things do you do to prepare them for the season?
Really important is so it's really important to make sure that environment's clean, well ventilated, and they're happy in their environment. We like to turn the stallions out because we've got the facility for it. Make sure they can go on the walker to warm the stallions up before the collection. and make sure they're fit, healthy, have a kind of full vet check, make sure the back's not sore, because lots of different things can put the stallion off from collecting. So we just need to make sure the stallion is fit, healthy, and happy is definitely the key, and less stress, nice and calm environment, preferably.
And Desiree, you've got a bit of a saying about happy stallions, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally agree with you, AJ. A happy environment is very important, and also that they nice and quiet in the stables, that no stress. Because sometimes you have stallions, they are really impressed by other stallions, and that sometimes cannot work very well. Then you have to put them in another stable. But yeah, no stress. That's the best for a stallion to do.
I think you've mentioned stress. EJ's mentioned stress, and I can't underestimate it enough. We see do some pre-breeding examinations and stallions that have got poor fertility sometimes, and I'm not saying it always is, but I can tell you a lot of stress, I think, is there's two things, stress and pain are one of the most underestimated things when it comes to stallions fertility. I know some of it can be generic or genetic, but and this is something we're going to try and talk a bit about tonight, how we can de-stress that stallion and really try, because that will make a huge difference. So, and Desiree, pain has a bit of an issue as well, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Pain is really an issue. How much pain they have, how difficult they can collect, and how bad it's for the semen. So it's pain is really pain and stress. I totally agree. That's the most underestimated thing for semen assessment.
And when you look at the stallion, Desiree, to start with, when you come in to do just say this is a new stallion, what's the sort of things you look at to see straight away if he's going to be a stallion that may be able to work well in the breeding shed and obviously produce good semen? What's the sort of things you would
first look him in the eye? Yeah, that's the first thing what I do. Look him in the eye, see how he's reacting on you, and then look how his mental health actually is, how condition is very well. And then, look at his legs also, if everything is okay, when it's not lame or something like that. That's very important. And then I think we check the testicles, of course, also before we start to collect. But you do that, we do it with our hands, or not about. And Tullus doesn't there because he needs something to count the testicles, isn't it? That was the last time. Yeah, so we do it with our hands, and we're gonna feel if the testicles are nice, big, and strong, of course. But I don't know. Can you show us what you always use, Tullus? Yeah.
So basically, Desiree, I think each year you should, and that's how, but go in and just palpate the testicles. If they're soft, that's never a good sign. And obviously, you want to make sure the testicles is facing the right way. So the epididymis should be facing to the back of the stallion. Sometimes they do rotate. The testicles is obviously the sperm production factory. That's the thing that we've got to look at. If these are soft, small, and you're doing a pre-purchase examination, that is not a good sign to start with. So it's yes, you can scan the testicles. You can put calipers on. I think the caliper things I don't really like. It's hard to measure them, but with a scanner you can. But it's literally just going in and literally palpating the stallion testicles, holding the testicles, and just seeing if the stallion lets you, just seeing how firm they are. I think that is such an important part, and that will tell you on. So when it comes to exercise, Bart, how do you think it's, how fit do these stallions have to be to perform for your place? Because you're collecting off them every single day, aren't you?
Yes, I have to if it's necessary. But one time your question, I didn't hear anything very well.
Sorry, I'm just saying fitness, on the fitness of the stallion before preparing for the stud season. Do you get your stallions quite fit, or just a little bit, or how important is the fitness side?
I think it's very, very necessary to get them fit, especially if they have a really hard time for the collection in the fresh season. So therefore, I try to, that's what I say with the lambs, I try to do the work that for example, I freeze till January, give them a small rest short before the breeding season really starts in March. So now it's very, very short, and then give a small rest. And then before I start the new season, I flash them out to see if everything is clean and fine. And then they get in a normal line, so that they get every second day, or even sometimes you have to do every day, but that they are in a line. And even I try to do in the same time, because we have quite a lot of stallions, so we start with the same stallions quite early, and then we try to do them in the same, that they are used on this time, similar time, to collect every second day or every day what is necessary.
Yeah. To get it up. We're going to talk about semen assessment a little bit later. Any questions in there?
Not yet. We've got a quiet. Yeah, we're answering them as well. So
let's go. Here we have CCTV cameras in all the boxes, because again, if we see a stallion wandering around a box, stress is shown in different ways to horses. We think it's just because they pace around the box, but sometimes it doesn't show in that way. But we've got the CCTV cameras in here to keep an eye on them, and so on. And sometimes even the stallion opposite can actually have a bit of an effect on them as well. You sometimes for the board and stuff, because they
Got them out there. Let's go.
well, yeah, I'll hold him.
hang on, you're all right.
Can you manage him, Thomas?
Yeah, we like this.
He knows what these are. So we use these sometimes when the stallion's looking like he's a bit unsettled in the stable. So the young horses seem to like these, because obviously we can grab them, throw them around the box, just keep them entertained. And then the dodecahedron, we usually put some treats in here, and then they kind of keeps the brain focused on something else, and then they kind of get distracted of what they're worried about, and then they kind of calm down. So these are two things that we use here to kind of distract the stallion from any stressful thoughts in the stable, really.
And I've got a question here actually from Shirley. Shirley Light.
Hi, Shirley.
She likes your pink hat, by the way, to this. She said, how much hard feed do we feed? So probably for EJ, the question.
Hard feed, we usually just feed about the balancer really all year round for the good doers. And then the slow release mix or nuts, the ones that just need a little bit more, a little bit more condition, so the good doers have balancer and chaff, and then the ones that need a little bit more condition have a extra bit of slow release as well.
Is that spillers?
That's all spillers.
All spillers.
All spillers, always.
And Bart, do you have any special feeding regime for your boys out there?
Yeah, I learned from the Werner Stockermüller, the brother of Paul, where I was before. The good thing is good hay and good hafer. Still, I know that everybody is afraid of hafer today, but at the end of the day, the hafer is very important. I think also for young stallions, for everything. But yeah, we put also some pellets, and we give a supplement. You use the 5-star stuff. I use from Holland the quality stuff, but at the end, you give a supplement to help them. And then you will see that they are in a good condition. For us, it is important because most of the stallions are going also to shows. So they have quite a high level of energy also to get in their feet. But that is especially done by the people here who are looking for each stallion, what they do and what they get for feed. But yes, for sure, for the breeding from stallions, we use some supplements, like the 5-star or the quality what we use.
I think the stallions just having a bit of a moment actually with EJ at the moment. So I think he likes the hat. So, Desiree, have you got anything to add to that on the feed side?
No, I totally agree with Bart. They need some vitamins and minerals. First of all, I thought maybe older stallions, only older stallions need it, but I have to, I'm totally agree with Bart. Even young stallions need some vitamins and minerals, because it's given it, they have a lot to do. If they do the collection, if they do the training, everything all together after competition, it's really a lot. Don't underestimate that. They need some vitamins and minerals extra.
Yeah, and I think we can.
One thing, I like to say one thing. The people always think, oh, it's just one collection is finished. But this for the stallions is really, if they have to do every second day, or sometimes 5-6 times a week, it's really, really hard work. I'm thinking even that it's better to do for show jumping stallions, and I say this already sometimes in here, but okay, they don't want this way. But I think it's even better to say we use the stallions from the middle of April till the middle of June, only for the freezing season. And out of this, they can do shows, but not in this time.
Yeah.
But because it's really, really hard for the stallions. They think it's just fun, but it's not fun. It's hard work.
You're absolutely spot on, Bart. And I think if we can get anything across to everybody who's watching tonight, it's that, yes, don't get me wrong, there's the odd stallion that you can just bring out and he'll jump on the dummy and he'll go and do his job. But these are athletes, and I see so many times they come out of competition, people don't say, well, that's it, doesn't need to be fit. These have to be working in a different way. And if they're not in tip-top condition and you expect them to collect every day or every other day, they're just not going to produce the semen, or you're going to get failed collections, or they're going to get stiff behind. These are, in theory, athletes, but just in a different way when you're doing semen. And it's so important that every part of the stallion is checked, and it's every little bit helps. So it's from the exercise, it's from the temperament, it's from how they're looked after, to stress, pain, making sure we actually get the back person to look at them a couple of times through the season. They have massages. If you look after the stallion, he will look after you when it comes to producing semen. I think hopefully that's and it is, I can't stress that enough. And it's like anything, what you put into him is what you will get out of him with semen quality. So the feed and the nutrition, we're going to come on to the fertility supplement in a minute, is so important. I can't tell you how important. There's a lot we can do in the lab, and the amount of people think that you just do process the semen in the lab and you can change the quality of the semen. I'm afraid not. It starts here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does not start in the lab. So
no. In the lab, you can just get what you get.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And work what you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and I'm learning all the time. We're always learning on this sort of road that we're on the reproduction side, and we're always picking up tips and tricks. But the one thing I think that's been made clear, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, is how important stallion management is to produce the good semen. In other words, to produce good, the pain and stress. If you can get rid of those, you're going to have a much better season in collecting, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. Stallion management is everything, also with the collection.
Absolutely everything. Yeah. So, but anyway, we've done about the feeding. So we've done all that. And obviously we use a lot of spillers here, but we'll come outside. Another poll question we got here is, do you feed a fertility supplement? So that'll come up if you can just tick literally a very simple yes or no. Now, we have got a few sponsors tonight, but we don't just pick the sponsors just because they're helping us pay for the night. We really make sure that we get sponsors that we can really align to and work with, and make sure they make a big difference when it comes to it. So we've been partnering with NAF for quite some time. They're actually sponsoring our open day. I just have to put that out. Our NAF open day is on the 23rd of April. But NAF, if I say, have 30 years of experience in the industry. They're one of the only official suppliers of supplements. They have extensive, for the British equestrian team, that is, they have extensive range of effective products for joints, breathing, hooves, digestion, gut, and obviously fertility. And we do, and today we're actually doing our Valentine's offer we're carrying on for our small tub of the 5-star fertility. We're giving 10% off for this one week, isn't it, I think? But if you do ring up for it, you've just got to quote Stallion Wemidar, or you can quote Tullis in Pink Hat if you want, and then we might give you 10% off for that as well. Doesn't mean you get 20% off, but now we've been using this, I think, for a couple of years now. We did some initial trials, And it's a bit hard for people watching because you're just thinking, oh, well, we're just trying to flog this product. I can promise you now, every year I'm absolutely blown away what a difference this makes. I wish I had this supplement, not me personally, but I wish we had the supplement for the last 10 or 15 years, because it has made such a difference. You've had one particular stallion that comes to us a lot, and he takes quite a while to flush out. This year he's been on it all winter, and it took him 3 days to flush the semen out, where it normally takes him 2 or 3 weeks. You might say there's a lot of variables. It might not just be this, it might be other things, but so far we're seeing huge differences on stallion fertility on that. It comes in a big tub as well, and it's on a pellet form, so it's quite palatable. But I'm going to let Kate Hall is here tonight, and she's going to just give us 5 minutes on the 5-star fertility. So, Kate, over to you if you want to share your screen and talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Tullis. Just bear with me one moment and we'll get that. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So we were asked to talk a little bit this evening about some of the results. I think last time we were on, we talked a little bit more about the ingredients. So this evening, just in a couple of minutes, I want to go through some of the development and the results we've had with the product. So hopefully you all see that moving on to the next screen now. And this product, we've spent a lot of time getting this product exactly right. It's been 4 years in development, and Tullis, I think, as you said, 2 or 3 years of that was working with yourselves as well. And the product is now well proven both in the field and in the lab. So that's our 5-star fertility for stallions. And it is a unique synergistic blend of omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, vitamins, digestive support. That digestive support, really interesting what you were saying earlier about the stress. If we believe that a happy gut is a happy horse. So if we can keep the digestion happy with that, then it helps the gut-brain axis and helps keep the horse calm as well. So quite a unique blend. But so what we wanted to just talk to you quickly this evening about were some of the development trials, both the field trials and the in vitro laboratory trials. So for the field trials, these were stallion manager questionnaire run, and the horses chosen were quite a wide range from warm bloods, thoroughbreds, traditional cob, and also both AI and traditional thoroughbred covering as well. And a really good spread of age from 5 through to 25 years. And the stallions were assessed on fertility rate and also semen quality, which included concentration, numbers, motility and mobility. So to show you those results, we had a significant improvement in fertility rate and also a significant improvement in semen quality. And both of those are at the level of significance we would expect for a field trial. And the semen quality, the stallion managers were asked to give a score from 1 to 5, where 1 is very bad and 5 is excellent. And this is the average result of all the stallions. So the average result before the product was fed was 1.75. And that increased up to 4.5, just about, or just under 4.5. So really quite a huge improvement in semen quality. In the in vitro laboratory trials, which were done both with Stallion's AI services and at another research station, we were looking at motility, concentration, cooled and frozen quality, and semen sexing. And we saw marginal but important gains. And I think actually Tullis is the best to talk about the importance of these marginal gains. Sometimes they seem very small, but they're actually very significant in both the chilled and thawed characteristics. And this is just one case study, an in vitro semen assessment. And this is a case study of progressively motile sperm in a traditional cob, which showed consistently higher progressively motile sperm when they were on the fertility product, and also an extended breeding season right through to September. And the observations, although they weren't clinically assessed, the observations were for improved stallion behavior And also this was a dual purpose stallion, and they found that he was able to work better and maintain his condition and concentration for his work better, as well as his breeding work. And what we love about this stallion is his name is Black Pudding. So of course the proof is in the pudding when it comes to the 5-star fertility. And just to go through some of the other feedback we've had from the in vitro assessment, these are all quotes that we've had from stallion managers and also from the laboratory people doing the assessment. So on semen concentration, the 5-star fertility worked well and enabled us to get more concentrated semen. You can see there in a 20-year-old eventer. For cooled and frozen quality, transformed the quality from hopeless through to mares in foal on first covering. For semen sexing, we like this quote, "What have you done to him? The difference is like night and day." So that's, and that was actually from the semen sexing laboratory themselves, and they didn't know the horse had been put on a different supplement, but they really noticed the difference. And for motility, we've got quotes like motility increased to 65%, showing good motility and successful matings. And of course, stallion behavior is also important. So there in a 25-year-old multidiscipline thoroughbred, he's now got that spark back in his eye and is enjoying his job again, whereas perhaps he'd previously was not so keen on it. And not just for the adult stallions, but also for colt preparation, particularly for the thoroughbreds, yearling colts, this product makes a huge difference too. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but reasons to feed would be semen motility, concentration, cooled and frozen quality, semen sexing ability, libido, colt sales preparation, and work and condition. And important to say, I think, that we recommend it for both AI and natural covering. Again, earlier we were talking about how hard these horses are working, and of course that's particularly true for the natural covering horses. So they need all the help they can get as well. So this product's recommended for both AI and natural cover. And I think that's what I wanted to go through just in a very quick couple of minutes with you. So if there are any questions or anything we can help with, we're happy to answer any questions. And we're delighted you've got that offer on this evening, Tullis. So hopefully people are going to try it with their stallions.
Yep, we do actually have one question for you, Kate.
Okay.
It's how long before the collecting season starts should we start introducing the fertility supplement to the feed?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a really good question. So spermatogenesis takes around about 6 weeks, basically within the animal. So yes, around about 6 weeks before is the ideal time. You can introduce it at any time, but obviously it's going to take that 5 or 6 weeks to build up within the system. In terms of the semen, in terms of the sort of libido behavior changes, we see those a bit quicker. We see condition and performance changes a little bit quicker, but the semen quality is going to be about 6 weeks.
Great. Right. Thank you very much. Are we back on screen?
All right. Thank you, Tullis.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kate. That was brilliant. And thank you again for sponsoring the webinar. I really appreciate that. So we're coming on. We've done about the stallion. Oh, one thing I said about our open day, it's on the 23rd. I think, Shirley, you've got an open day coming up as well. I think I don't know when the date is. Maybe put it in the chat and I'll shout it out to people. That's if you're still watching and not drinking that toffee vodka that you bought me the other day, but which I couldn't have with you. But I think you've got an open day coming up as well in March. We can soon give that a shout out if you want. Right, so we've done about the stallion and how important it is to prepare him. This is the action end. This is where obviously a lot of it matters. If it doesn't go right in the collection area, the whole thing can come apart. We all get stressed out. The stallion fails to ejaculate. They won't mount a dummy. They take an hour to tease for the libido. It can be quite a stressful environment, and I think it's important to try and find out the best way to handle, especially when you've got a young stallion and trying to train them on the dummy and trying to get them learning to the correct methods so they don't bolt at the dummy mare, and so they respect the collection, the person who's handling it, and obviously trying to avoid risk, a risk of injury to the stallion or yourself, and really what sort of bittings you should have in the stallion. And it's a really important part of the whole process is actually the bit in it. We do a dummy training offer for less than £1,000. I think it's £999. I think so. You can actually bring your stallions here to train. But I have to think. Sorry.
That's really cheap because some of the stallions they take days to learn.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people working with this for less £1,000. So
well, thank you for that, Bart. But I was going to obviously come on to Bart. You've done some great videos for us, Bart, and I really appreciate it. I haven't seen all the videos yet, and I know what you've been. I have to admit, you've been absolutely brilliant showing these videos, because you've been showing the way you in Germany they seem to collect off the stallions totally on your own. They don't need extra people. They do it all. But you've sent us videos where it hasn't quite worked, or the stallion's a bit over the dummy. You haven't censored any of these videos. You haven't cut any bits out of these videos. You've given us the raw footage. So I think it'd be quite good, if you can start, Amy, if you can start showing these, and Bart can explain about what he's doing on each one, because this is an area where people can get it wrong so easily, and then the stallion can be, not the rest of his life, but can be really have an unhappy experience in the breeding shed, then his unwillingness to sort of perform. So I think Bart and Desiree, you've got so much knowledge behind this, so I think it'd be quite good if you can just talk us through some of these videos that you're going to show us now.
Okay, so I want to show just a few videos. It's not a magic what we are doing, but you have to learn to look at the stallion, what they want, what they like, and how they are reacting on the stuff. So I prefer to do by myself or with as less as necessary people. The thing is, I have not so much people, so like this. But the thing is, we have to learn to read the stallion, what he wants, what he do, how he's reacting. And we can see in this video, some stallions are really calm, but afraid of the dummy. Other ones are calm, but they accept the dummy. Some are too wild. So there are a few things what you have to see and to read. This stallion, for example, it's the first time. He never should do. He is 5 or 6, but he never did before. Now he have to learn, because he never, they may not go up. So he have to learn, and he is a little bit scared. You will see. So this is, no problem. Now he's finished. So now it's fine. He knows it's a good place. The next time he jumps on. So it's not always the thing that it have to be perfect the first time. The most important thing is that they have a good feeling if they go out. That's a good thing. For example, this one, almost the same, but he reacts, or he's not afraid of the dummy. So he will, if we give him the vagina, you will see he is not the super hot stallion, but if I give the vagina and wait a little bit, now you see we have one right there. We have just we call it Jacqueline. It's a mare on wheels. And then, and then if I give the dummy, the vagina, he will start to push by himself, and that's a natural reaction, and then he will jump. So this stallion is not so afraid of the dummy. We take a little bit of time that he can concentrate. So now he's just concentrate on the phantom and nothing else. He's not afraid for me. Sometimes they run away. Sometimes they kick. So they have to be fine with what I'm doing there. You need a little bit of time.
And a lot of patience.
Yeah, and stay calm. Just stay calm. That's one of the most important things. And no stress. So now he do nothing, but he get the vagina, and you will see he will start by himself. I don't do nothing. You can see if you look at his back, he will start. You see, now he start to push, and then that's a normal, natural reaction. And then he takes the phantom. And now he can do the normal thing. The next time, he will jump by himself. So now here we have a video. That's the one who is too hot, it's not like the other one. You see? So bring the mare away because he is too hot. Now you can see the front legs are too much in the front. So normally this is not so easy, especially for the one who will collect, because now he's really strong. He can push you where you want. So therefore you should make the dummy a little bit more up. But in England, you have not a problem because the dummy is with the neck. So yeah, you have not this problem. So here we have a stallion, what I say before, that's one who is not so happy, who wants to kick. He is normally hot enough, but he don't want to jump. Now I will help him, then he kicks. Then he feels one time, and then he jumps. So that are all small things. You have to be slow, careful. Now he feels, then he will jump. You see? Careful, and then you can collect. So, and you see here in this case, we make the phantom a little bit more up, that he cannot run over. So, and this is just a few things, but what can happen. Yeah, they can go over, they can too far away, but like this, they are calm. You wait till they come down, they feel fine. And that's the important thing, that they feel fine, that it's okay. And then you can do the next times, it's very easy. This is not just like you see the video now, it's 2 minutes, but maybe they have standing there 15 minutes. This one, it's the first time, the next video is the same thing the second time. He takes maybe half an hour before he was really accepting everything. This is a very young horse who was just ridden 10 times maybe. So he don't know exactly what it is, but he accept the mare, he accept the dummy, and so he do. Now I was too slow, so we have to do one time again. So this can happen, but then you have to stay calm, no problem. The next time he will do. So now we do, that's the same day, just the second time. Now he will do, and then it's okay. See, he is too much looking at what I'm doing, but at the end, you have to concentrate on the front, and then he will come and jump. You can see on his bit and everything, so you see now he's doing a normal thing. Take the time till he's laying down, and now he can collect. So these videos are all videos of the first or second time they jump. And I have one video. It's again too much forward, but yeah. After 2-3 times, if they know exactly, I have one people who just manage a stallion, and then I just collect. So then we are with 2 or 3 people. But for the beginning, I like not to have too much people, because then there are too much people. You have to look at the people, at the horse, at everything. And And like this, I know what I'm doing and I know what the stallion is doing, so I can react faster. So this is the same stallion we had before, only 2 days later, the second time. And now you see he's more relaxed. The mare is more away. He knows what's going on. He plays a little bit with the dummy and then he do a fine job. And that's the same stallion like the video before. So that's just the second time. So therefore it's very easy. If they learn and they learn good, it's easy for always. So, and if we take the next time, now this stallion, we can take another guy who just managed a stallion and one guy who collected a stallion. And that we will show on the next one. That's also not so old, but he have a little bit problems with the libido. So that's why I put him just next here, that he is similar, close to the mare. You have to concentrate, you have to learn. And then if he is good enough, I just see, and then you have to concentrate on the mare, go backwards, jump, and then we can collect with other people. It's easy. So this is one who did 4, 5, 6 times. So, and so we are all the young stallions managing somewhere like this. Try to read what they want, and then it's easy to do. But it takes time. So therefore, that's what I say. With 1,000 euros, I think it's cheap. But
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, I think those videos were quite brilliant on what you're saying. I said, like you say, take your time, and yeah, it's amazing how these stallions will come to train on the dummy. There's a couple of questions. One person said about sort of the safety side. I must admit, it's obviously, I think it's down personal preference. Just with us, we generally wear steel toe cap boots and hard hats. But we are dealing with a lot of other people's stallions at our place that we don't know how they're going to react and so on. The other question we got asked, and Desiree, you might be able to ask this one. They were saying about collecting on which side of the dummy do you prefer to collect from? I know you drive the cars on the wrong side of the road.
The right side of the world. It's so typically England, the left side of the. No, it's actually I prefer to do it really on the left side. It's maybe crazy that I say this right now because it's on the English way then. Yeah. But yeah, you know, that is only. It's also sometimes with a stallion collect on the other side. I don't mind to get him on the other side. It's what stallion. Yeah, gives what he wants, but I prefer to do it on the left side. If he goes to the right side, then I go to the right side. Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
Can I tell you? Can I say something about this? I prefer to do this on the side where the people are standing with the stallion, because if there is something happening, the guy who has the stallion in his hand, he will pull. He will never put the head from him away. That's a natural thing. So he pulled, and if I'm on the right side, he pulled the stallion up to the right side, the back side, and then you are under it. That's why I like to be on the same side. It's more safe.
Yeah. Safety first, also for you, because you need to be in control. And even with the young stallions, it's not that easy, and you really need to time. They come to the breeding area. The hormones get around everywhere. They don't know sometimes what to do. And please be patient, because the first time, what Bart always saying, is so important for the rest of his life. You know, how he breeds and how he collect the rest of his life. If you do that the first time, couple of times properly, you have a fantastic stallion on the rest of his life. Yeah.
And on the collecting on both sides, obviously we always collect on the left-hand side. Same like driving down the road, it's just a much easier, more sensible, more logical way, really. But we do on some stallions, we find if they're a bit weaker on one side or the other, to compensate, we will, on the odd one, we'll collect on the opposite side. And I think it's always worth bearing in mind, if you have a stallion that you feel is quite weak on one side, just try the other side, because they might be more comfortable. but it's our go-to place is always on the same side as Bart said, because I know in some other countries they collect on the other. But if you're handling, you just step back a little bit. You're handling here with the stallion. You can look after the person who's collecting because you're all working on the same side. If it's the other side, it's very difficult to know what's going on and to be able to be in control. So I think, yeah, if you're all on that side. Just from Shirley Light's open day, was it the 25th? 26th of March, and she will have the toffee vodka out ready for you when you turn up. Shirley Light, people in the UK may know, she has amazing stallions. I'm sure it will be a great day there as well. So. Brendan Studd, by the way. Sorry, yeah. Brendan.
She had a question for Bart as well.
She had a question for Bart.
Yeah, Bart. She just wanted to know: do you always bandage the stallions behind?
Only if they have shoes.
Okay.
If they have shoes behind, we do this because now you could not see so well. But a lot of stallions, if they are collecting, they are walking with the behind feet on each other, and then that's why we put shoes and bandages on the behind side, just to protect the stallion.
They're dancing and they hurt themselves then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
If they have no shoes, we don't do also.
And I think we briefly spoke about it before, and I think we'll just go again because we're in here. The flushing out of the stallion, how long does that sometimes take on certain stallions, Desiree?
Well, some stallions, it's really amazing what they can give the first flush. It's really amazing. And sometimes it's very, very good quality, but it really needs a week, 2 weeks to flush them out if you collect them 3 times in a week. Yeah.
What about the age? What about the age of the stallion? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, I think how younger the stallions is, how quicker you can flush them out, how better the quality is after a couple of times. How older the stallion is, it needs a little bit longer. Yeah.
So stallions go through something called testicular degeneration. And as Desiree was alluding to, the older they are, the more flushing out. And quite often that's a common misconception because they think, oh, it's an older stallion, he knows what to do, or he's not got so many mares, so let's not collect off him. It can be the opposite, actually. Those older ones sometimes need more flushing out than the younger ones. So flushing out is so important. And do you wash the stallions off before you collect off them, Desiree?
Of course, always wash. Yeah.
And why is that?
Because you want to work with clean semen. And always wash, and even the fossa, you always, I'm always amazing how much you get off the fossa, how dirty it is. And take totally in front, you have the smegma, we call it the smegma. I don't know what it's in English. Is that English the same word?
Magma. It's a lovely word, that is.
Oh, it's a fantastic word. Okay, yeah, well, leave that. I don't come to on that too much because it's natural defense from the stallions himself. But only where the AV is there, I want to clean it. Yeah, and dry it. That's very important as well. Dry it.
And you'll see when you get semen, and if you don't wash a stallion off, you bring it into the laboratory, you can straight away tell by just looking at the colour whether that stallion's been washed off properly or not, because the colour will be a very grey colour, and it won't have it if it's been washed. And we did a bit of research. It removes 80% of the bacterial contamination in that semen pot if you wash them off. And remember, when you're washing off, it's with lukewarm water, no detergents, because we don't want, as Desiree was saying, we don't want to kill the stallion's own natural defences off when doing it. Yeah. And Bart, I'm always, with your videos that I saw there, and you actually taught me this, and we haven't got any of the stuff here, but when you handle those stallions, you have them on like 2 reins, don't you? And this is something I've learned. Well, I've learned so much from you over the years. But this is one thing, and it took me a while to actually use it, because we already had one rein on the chiffney or on a bit, but you have it. Now we use most of our stallion on the 2 reins. Why do you prefer the 2 reins, especially on a young stallion?
Because just to protect myself, with 2 reins, I can handle to get the neck straight. I can be on the shoulder. If I have only one, and I make 1-2 times go backwards, I always have the stallion behind me. There is some video we have seen for sure that some people somewhere come inside with the stallion. He do 2 times and the stallion is hot. He jumps on a dummy and the guy is in between. Because
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
That is because if you have only one line, you always get the stallion in front of you, and that's dangerous. And like I do with 2 sides, you always have this. You are next to the stallion on the shoulder, so that's very easy.
Yeah. No, I think definitely.
If you look at the last video, you can especially see how it is working with 2 lines.
And you want to try it with these youngsters. I must admit, it took me a while to get used to it. When you're used to handling one rein or one rope, it took a while to work. But we do all our stallions with the way that Bart showed us, and it's really, you can back them up. They don't always biting you, and it's much easier to control them. Just thing with the setup of the collection area, everyone's going to have their own slightly setup. So obviously safety is so important when you're handling for yourself, for the stallion, and obviously if the mare is mare involved. One of the mistakes I made years ago is I put the dummy mare this side of it, because we're in a smaller area, this side of the teaser mare box, and it's an easy mistake to make. And say the dummy mare is here, you are trapped between the stallion and the dummy mare. And so always have where the teaser mare, ideally, unless you're trying to get it to jump on the dummy, where we put the teaser mare the other side. But we go up, we tease the mare, we bring the stallion back and straight on the dummy. So you're not trapped between the stallion and the dummy mare, because some of these stallions will jump straight over the top of you, obviously, like you saw that guy on the video, and you might get more than you bargained for at the end of the day. So. Right, so I think we're pretty much done in the collection now. We've still got quite a bit more to do, so we'll move on into the AQ.
I've got some questions whilst we're on the move. So Wendy Cousins would actually like some tips, if that's okay, on collecting from a stallion who is only naturally covered for years. He hates the AV, temperature, pressure have been varied, but he loses interest immediately once the AV touches him. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, we're just about to do AVs. That's very perfect timing. So we're going to look at AVs in a minute. And it's a really good point. Just remember, keep these questions coming in. We've got people from America and all over the world listening in. Just give us a bit of a hi, tell us where you're coming from, and we'll give you a shout out. The other thing that we have on here, we have a board of all the stallions and what height the dummy's got to be. If they come around the side, what their libido's like, what type of AV they want, and whether they, this one wiggles a bit, but he's a good boy. So yeah, we know exactly what they're at. So come on in. Right. So just before we go and finish, don't forget, I must go answer that question in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
We're very lucky tonight. One of our other sponsors here tonight is, we've got a poll question actually before we start, is do you cover naturally, or do you use AI or collect off your stallion? So that poll question will come up, and if you can answer, it's just quite good to gauge how many people are still doing natural covering as opposed to AI that are watching it tonight. Our other sponsor tonight is Minitube. We've used the Minitube products for years. They're a German company. They distribute all over the world. They do obviously bovine and all sorts, but their products are second to none. They do deep uterine AI catheters. They did really good lube, gloves. They support the whole range of artificial reproduction products, and their products are so superior as well. Their quality is fantastic. So everything from boxes to ship the semen in, to obviously to repo gel for AI. They've even got this pretty cool little gadget for snipping the straws off. Have you seen one of these, Desiree?
Oh, you're gonna ship something over to me. Oh, this is nice. Oh, that's very nice.
Cool. You just put your straw in there, and you've got one for a 1/4 mil straw, one for a 1/2 mil, and it snips off exactly in the right place.
Oh, that's nice.
We might even throw this in for one lucky winner as well tonight. I think that's pretty cool. You can use a pair of scissors, obviously. So we're very pleased that Minitube are one of our sponsors tonight, and have to say their products are outstanding. Going on to the AVs. Now, one of the questions we just had come in, Desiree Bartlett, a question of an owner, and it'd be interesting because we might have differences of opinion on this. I don't know. But the Stallion has been covering all its life. I don't know how old. Did she say how old the Stallion was? And now they're trying to collect off him. He is, as soon as the AV it puts on him, he backs off. Is that right?
Yeah, he's always come naturally.
He's always come naturally,
yeah,
but he's never. Now, to me, I would sort of ask. I know there's all different types of AVs. I don't know whether you better go the other way. Is that all right? Yeah, shut that door. It's getting a bit cold. My legs are getting cold. Yeah. So the different types of AVs. To me, the way I would go about it is just seeing I'd ask what type of AV you're using. One of the things I'd make sure is that when you're washing off, is enjoying that experience, because if they're kicking out or not liking that, you want to get them used to being handled and the penis being handled. And if they're a bit shy on that side of it, you want them to try and enjoy that experience before putting the AV on, if they're backing off the AV. I don't know, Desiree, have you got any tips and tricks on this side?
Yeah, try to wash them first, you know, try that they're gonna get familiar that you are there and that you are holding the penis actually, and that you clean it up, and then try with the AV, try to do it just on the ground, not when he's only going onto the phantom, and to see how it's working then. And you need a little bit more pressure or not that many pressure. Try to do that before, that he starts get used to use yourself. That's an idea to do. Yeah.
And there's all different types of AVs here. You've got the Colorado AV, you've got the Boto AV, the Inner AV, the Hanover AV that I know Bartley used. And again, it's slightly personal preference. We prefer to use the Missouri one. I think, again, if you've got a Stallion that may be a little bit fussier, we just personally find the Missouri's a little bit more sensitive and maybe a bit more real-like. One of the things that mistakes I think people get, mate, you've got to get these AVs quite hot. Some Stallions do like the temperature quite hot, so temperature of the AV is important. And again, it's trying to make the experience a pleasurable experience, not a stressful experience. And I don't know, whenever you're handling Stallion, if you're on edge, it goes down those reins that you're handling straight to that Stallion. If you're relaxed, the Stallion's much more relaxed. I don't know, Bart, have you got anything to add to this? If it's a Stallion that really doesn't like the AV, what is there any tips and tricks that you would give on that?
The same like Daisy say, if it's an older Stallion who was collecting in natural covering, so then I would try to give him the vagina just standing behind the phantom like we've seen, and then maybe the mare next to the phantom, and if he accepts the vagina, you have to find out which one, but if he accepts the vagina, he will start to pull and press, and then he will jump, and then you have to get the mare away and let him come on the dummy. I think if they start like this, they will finish. Yeah. If they jump first and then you come with the vagina, then it might be that they run away because they don't like it. So I would do, especially with Stallions who had cover in natural, I would first forgive the vagina if he is standing and then let them jump. Yeah,
no, good. So,
and I'm going back to you, Antilles. You are totally agree. If you are not in a very good humor, if you're very stressful, and you come to the indoor arena, you take the Stallion and you want to collect because everything has to be quick. The transport is standing there. Yeah, I had one Stallion. He looked at me and he never did it. So that's so important to stay. And of course, you're not always 360 days. You're in a very good mood. I understand that sometimes you had a very nasty day between it, but be realistic that everything how your humor is getting back on the Stallions. Yeah, it's really.
No, I think so it's trying to let's say not be too stressful. Now we're not going to go through the whole AV thing because we could maybe even do that on another webinar. There's so much to learn, but just little tips and tricks that you want to know is trying to use a filter in line. It's much better to filter the semen as the Stallion ejaculates rather than afterwards. The amount of lube that you put on your hand, try and get away with as little lube as you can. The first thing I see on so many places, they put like a size of a golf ball sort of amount on the glove, so they hardly need anything. I think even with you, Bart, you don't even use lube. Is that right?
No, if you use a liner, you don't need lube, because otherwise, if they get the pre-exhalation and the lube, it's too glitchy and they cannot collect.
Yeah.
I didn't get all that. If it's not what?
If you use the liner, you don't need lube.
Yeah. So we use without a liner sometimes.
Without a liner, you need.
Yeah.
You need a little bit.
But we use a size in England, the 5 pence piece. I don't know. It's most probably a size of €1 or whatever. Cent. Tiny.
And please use sperm-friendly lube. Don't take the lube for what you do for the mirrors.
Yeah. And Mini Tube do their own.
Yeah.
Other brands are available, obviously. For the rest. Yeah. But yeah, it's really, that is so important. What Desiree says is the lube got to be sperm-friendly. We saw $1 lube. It was the best contraceptive you'll ever see. Literally, it killed the semen, stone dead. I mean, stone dead. So be careful which lube you use if you are using it.
And I know that in some stud farms they use Vaseline. Vaseline.
Vaseline. Yeah.
And they have a box within Vaseline, and they try to take everything every day, something off, and put it in the AV. You know, that box with Vaseline is a brunt of bacteria you cannot even imagine. Don't.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. No, you're right in it.
Take a liner, then you don't need.
Yes. Yeah. Take the Hanover.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can use liners and the filters, the gel. We use these filters most of the time. And I know, Bart, you use them. We sometimes use these Mini Tube filters. And I must admit, when we get Stallions with very thin gel, sometimes we use these because it stops the gel going through. But most of the time, they work very well. These are the Mini Tube ones, and they do work very well if you've got sort of a quite sort of thin gel that goes through them. But it's not just the gel; it's the smegma and other particles stopping from contaminating the semen as well. So it's really important to get that on there. So hopefully, there's any more questions? Or
there are a few. We've got one from.
Well, we'll head on into the lab, and then we will.
We've got one from Andrea Roberts to say, have you ever experienced a problem when a younger stallion has trained well on the dummy, collected very well with great percentages in his first season, and then the next season had failure to ejaculate? Pain was ruled out, had physio, acupuncture, and injections, then still not able to ejaculate either with an AV or trying naturally.
Wow. So something's changed between the 2 years.
It can be blocked.
Sorry?
It can be blocked. I have 1 or 2 stallions who produce a lot of semen, and I should go on during the whole September, October, November, December, January, till the next season, once a week, just to make them not blocked. If they have a lot of semen producing, it can be. Must not be. It can be.
So we had one the other day that was totally blocked as well. Usually with a blocked stallion, the tail will flag and they think they've ejaculated, but no semen in there. It'd be interesting whether it's a failed collection or actually they've ejaculated, but there's no actual semen in there. If they're not collecting at all, to me, you've always got to think how a stallion thinks. So if he fails to collect, it's a natural thing. If they were jumping on a mare, most stallions will go in and ejaculate and cover that mare. And if they're not doing it because the AV and they don't do it, it's a natural thing that there's something stopping them from doing it. So why they've been stopped from doing it, and they're stopping from doing it, most probably because I know they've ruled out the pain, but there's maybe a pain-related issue or an anxiety issue or something. So it's something we really, I would be looking at that side. Okay.
If they had a hot influence inside, they stop also.
Yeah. Yes. Can you get me the clipboard, please?
That you have to find out what happened with the stallion before.
Yes.
In the meantime.
One thing that is the pre. You mentioned it before, Bart. It's on my to talk about is the pre-breeding health test. You're saying obviously all stallions really need to be, well, they need to be tested. And I presume you do this at Shocker Mowers, EVA, EIA, and CEM, Club CL and Pseudomos. You do that, presume, routinely before each season, do you?
Yeah, we have to because of the rules, but we do anyway with every stallion who is coming new. For everything, we vaccinated the stallions because in Germany we can do. I know in other countries sometimes not. For
EVA.
EVA,
Yeah.
for rhino or herpes virus, we inseminate them all of this, so there they are vaccinated. But anyway, we make swaps and tests of the other stuff always, and every year again new.
Yeah, I think, have you got? I think Amy, were you putting something on the screen to share with that? I don't know. Is there something on the screen on there? No. Just to say, obviously, just got to push our open day on the 23rd of April. We've got 35 stallions already. We're virtually full of stallions. It's a day not to be missed. You can go online and book online. It's £7.50 if you book now, or £10 on the day. I don't know whether Desiree you'll be able to come over to it. Bart, you'll be much free. It's far too busy at that time of year. But we reckon it's going to be, it's the first one in 3 years we've held because of COVID. So we're really looking forward. It's called the NAF 5-star Stallion AI Open Day. So we're really looking.
Maybe I can say I have COVID, so I have to stay at home.
Yeah, we go to England. Yeah, England.
Yeah, England.
Isn't it?
Where restrictions are lifted. It's not like in Holland where you're still now.
England is the place to be.
So we're really looking forward to seeing you there. If you do come on the day, we've just got our directories are just out, and it's got all the. We're going to come on to in a minute on the season side in a minute. So don't go away yet. So we've got a brand new directory. It's £5 just to post it out. Otherwise, it's free if you pick one up. Everyone on the open day gets one of these. And just so you know, there's over 140 stallions in this book. It's got 120 studs and vets are in here. And there's 354 pages and a breeder's guide of 100 pages. This is your Bible for breeder's guide. This is all you need for the year. It's got everything about all different stallions in here. So we even do a larger one as well. So we've got one in here. This is Karen Nichols' Stallion Fantaland. I think is he coming to us? Yeah, he's coming to us. So yeah, it really is everything you need to know about breeding, putting a mare in foal, ICSI, cloning, and everything there. So I've got to introduce you to Pam. Pam is absolutely, we call her the Oracle. There's nothing she doesn't know about everything that goes on in this lab. I'll just go back to the open. All the stallions are going to be tested before they come here.
Yeah, they all need their pre-season health testing, please. CEM swab, Club CL Pseudomonas, EVA, EIA, and then we ask for strangles and an EHV nasal swab unless they're vaccinated. So all of those before they come on centre, not after.
Yeah, definitely. And how important, because we do the semen assessments, how important is the semen assessments that you do in here pre-breeding? I mean, what are we looking for?
Hugely important. So we're looking to see whether or not that semen is send-outable. So you want to be able to send your semen out to a mare owner. We want to know if it's going to travel overnight and look amazing the next day. So with the semen assessments, being able to flush your stallion out, see what we're starting with, seeing it improve, and then doing your extender tests and checking the semen over 2 days to have a look and see which extender and how best to process it.
So we're going to come on to extenders in a minute and finding that, and this is all to do pre-breeding at the beginning. But just before we go any further, we've got a little bit of a get. Pam's pretty excited about this.
I'm more than excited.
Desiree, what do you reckon? Can I get this out of the packet? Can I?
This is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Socks with sperm.
Socks with sperm on. How about that? So one lucky person tonight is going to win.
That's going to be me then.
I know.
Thank you.
I mean, we got the hats we're going to give away. It's just a giveaway tonight. everything. So
But I love
lovely.
those
So-
socks.
They are the best.
So again, this is the last sponsor tonight, and I have to thank Nidacon. We use Nidacon products, and they do some good extender. The Boto Seaman extender they use. They also do something called a red cushion, and the Equipure. And this is a really brilliant product for separating live and dead sperm cells. And we use this a lot. We use it on the sexing side as well. But it's a great way of separating the sort of the live and dead. Desiree, have you ever used this product at all?
Oh yes, I love Equipure. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, Equipure is fantastic, especially.
That was the luckiest set. I was hoping you were going to say yes. If you said no, I would be struggling a bit.
No. I love Equipure. Equipure is fantastic, especially if you are freezing stallions. I only use it by frozen semen, not with fresh. But especially with frozen semen, if the stallion is not coming out that well, and then Equipure can be a solution to freeze the stallion properly. Yeah. Have some good quality.
So basically what it can do is separate, but again, it's something on a separate presentation we can do, because we could do a whole night on the subfertile stallion, how we can improve their semen quality. Yeah. So that's another one, but no.
I have to say, you always lose some semen if you use Equipure. Yeah. That's one thing for sure. Be aware of that. But you get a better amount of semen where you can work with for frozen. Yeah, I love Equipure.
Also for fresh.
But
if you have a stallion with a bad motility and you use it with Equipure, you lost maybe one third of the semen, but what you get is super stuff, and you can make really good pregnancy with this.
And we've just come on over, Bart. Desiree, we've had a question come in about poor libido, and just if you've got a stallion with really poor libido, and I think this is quite a common problem and quite a frustrating problem, how do you cope with that? Is there certain things that you do? Do you bring it into the breeding shed for a while, tease it a bit, and take it away again? How do you cope with that? I mean, if we come to you, Bart, first, because I think it's quite a common problem, the poor libido issue.
Okay. First of all, you can try to give them, if they have this problem anyway, you can give them every day 1 or 2 eggs. Just into the food, put inside. They will eat with or without the outside of the egg. Then
that's with the shell and everything.
You can do just some eat the shell and everything. Doesn't matter. And you can give 2 or 3 a day. It's no problem. Then what I prefer is I tried sometimes with the Beamer blanket. On part number 1, 2 times to make them a little bit more with the Beamer blanket. The blood is going more through and through, so that helps sometimes, not always. Then you can put the stallion just for 1 hour in a box where hot mare have stand before, just to give him the smell. What I prefer, because my stallions always are going on a walker, I take some urine of a mare who will probably ovulate on this day, give it just in his nose and let him walk 20 minutes with this smell, and then go in the breeding hole. And then they just take a longer line to get more hot. I think these are a few things that you should try, how the stallion react, but at the end of the day, every stallion reacts in his own way. So you have to read your stallion to find out what he likes the most.
Yeah. And
sometimes you have to go back to the barn and to see the stables and see how the stallion is in the stable. If he sees another stallion who's who's really the leader of the group, he can be very shy on this, and maybe another stable can help as well to give him in a little bit more close to the mares. I think that's also a possibility, that he smells the mares easily.
No, thank you for that, Desiree. We've got some semen under the microscope, because I think, and I think it's really important, those tips and tricks, because when we're in the busy stud season, have to admit, it's nothing more frustrating when you're in the breeding shed with one stallion for an hour before he's actually ready to jump. So there's all different things that you can try. You've got to find what works for that stallion.
But did you ever use gelding before for collection? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I had one stallion years ago, and one of my riders say, "This stallion, always look at my gelding." I said, "Okay." And then he don't want. We had 2 mares. She came with the stallion. He just looked outside. Zack, finished.
No.
And yeah, for sure.
Wow.
And he did with the gelding. Oh, and then if he see the gelding, he was happy and he jumps. So what I say, you have to find out what they like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learn something on these webinars every time.
Tell us it's
anybody else. Right, we'll have to try the gelding next time. So before the season starts, it's extended test is important, and because we can't just assume that the stallion semen, just because it was sent out in a certain extender last year, is going to necessarily work this year. So what do we do with the stallions before they come in, Pam? Because I think you deal with all this side on the test.
Before they come in?
When they come into testing, so before the season starts.
So we start pushing them out, and we get to the semen to a certain point. So once we're happy that it's got to the best we can get it, we then take an ejaculate, and actually, here's one I prepared earlier.
Look at that.
This is actually one that's ongoing, and we will split it into, I've got 12 samples there, so I'll have 6 uncentrifuged and 6 centrifuged, and I'll split it into 6 different extenders. I've got an array of extenders here. So these are our sort of main go-to ones. We can do bespoke if needed, but these are the ones we go to. And as I said, we would have half uncentrifuged, half centrifuged, and then we look at the semen over 12, 24, and 48 hours and just see what sample's looking the best.
Yeah.
And which extender.
And most of the ones, they prefer centrifuge?
They prefer centrifuge.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing that in the UK, we're doing a lot more centrifuge, I have to admit, but centrifuge is like night and day. We're trying to find the right extender. Now, we've got lots of different ones here. We've got Indra, both Creo, Mini Tube, Quality Extender. This is another Mini Tube extender, and then the Spur Viper range. And it's really important trying to find out which one. I know, Desiree, this is yours, but we've been trying this recently, and have to admit, it's something you've been working on for quite some time now. To try and perfect it, and you keep sending it back, and we keep altering it, and we keep getting better and better and better. So it's not totally clear, but it's slightly clear. So just tell us a bit about this, Desiree.
Yeah, it's powder. You know, it's not based on milk. So it's only based on milk, not on eggs. So I always think that a stallion is going to decide which extender is the best. And if this, but I don't like to use different kind of eggs, you know, with the different kind of extenders. So guess if he's not liking this extender.
Oh, there we go. So there we go, in powder form. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in powder, and you add there 200 ml demi-distillated water, and you shake very well, and you make it warm, and then you can use it. And you can use it for fresh or only for centrifugation. And you combine this one with other extenders. So afterwards you can say, okay, he's better in another extender. Then you can add for the shipping, you can add another extender if it's necessary.
So you use this one for centrifugation as well?
Centrifugation and fresh.
And what I like about this so much is, as it's fairly clear, I presume you can see the cell bands.
Yeah, the cell band, especially but when you've got it, you've spun it for frozen on top of the cushion is amazing.
Yeah.
Charlotte, I use this since 2 months now for centrifugation for the frozen stuff. And the viability is at least the same like with each other or better.
Yeah.
And you can see, like you say, you can really see very well, because if you do in the tube in the light, you can exactly see what you're doing and take a lot away. And that's what we have now in a test. It's also from Minitube. We get the new stuff for testing, and that's maybe very interesting for stallions with a very poor libido, because if this extender, what we test for mini-tube now, is coming from Australia, they say we test it now, you can use it for maybe 1 week or 10 days. Then you can use for these stallions with a poor libido only for once a week collection. And that is amazing for these stallions. Then you don't need so much time.
And we just say the 5-star fertility is very good for libido as well. It's excellent for that. Sorry, I wouldn't say one. No. So before the season starts, you've got to find out. Do you notice that much, Bart? I don't know. We're not saying as many stallions, but do you find sometimes the stallions will change extenders year on year sometimes?
Yes, for sure.
And I find that very bizarre and weird, because you think when this up, but it is so true. And I don't. Do you know why? Because I don't know why. It's obviously something in the semen must change. But I find it a bit bizarre. Desiree, do you know why this is?
Yeah, sometimes you have testicle degeneration, so you have to sometimes, the next year it can be worse, and they need a little bit more energy, or it's strange, but it's really happened that some stallions works better on another extender than the previous year, and therefore it's very important to do every year the test with all kinds of different extenders what families do. And the stallion is going to decide which one it is. And it's not commercial. It's the stallion tells you which one it works. Always.
Well, definitely. And we've even had one stallion last year that, after about a month or so, it changed again, didn't it?
Mid-season.
We very rarely, normally it's year after year, but actually mid-season, which is a bit crazy.
I see sometimes also with frozen stuff. If you start young stallions, they do with the DMF super and with the glycerol nut, and then after 2-3 months they change.
Maybe that sometimes.
I don't know why, but it is true. They change.
That sometimes the semen get a little bit stronger. Don't you agree? That you think that after a couple of that it's getting a little bit stronger. Yeah.
So pre-season, because this is obviously it's so important to do your extender tests. So when we get our sample of our collection off our stallion, as I say, as Desiree was saying, or Bart was saying, I can't remember who it was now, it can take sometimes 2 weeks to flush them out. We want to always have a look at the colour. We weigh the samples to see how much they're giving us. The average stallion gives you between 7 and 10 billion sperm per ejaculate, but it depends how often you collect off them. And so you want to be making sure you've got a good ejaculate and do your extender tests for that. And we've got some semen on the microscope here. So it's been on there a bit, but you can see how well it's swimming around. The whole beauty about AI is having a look at it and just seeing the quality of that. So what other things do you look at, Pam, before the season on the semen side?
So we look at the volume, the concentration. So volume and concentration are different. As Tullis says, we weigh the samples to get the volume. Some stallions produce 50 mils, some stallions produce 20 mils, but it's what's in there that counts. So if you've got a really dense sample on the screen, that's great. If it's only 20 mils, don't panic, it's what's in there that counts. We're then looking at the motility. So we're looking at the total and progressive motility, what's moving forwards and what's moving total. We look at viability. So we use our nuclear counter over here to have a look and see how many sperm cells are viable. And then we do our extender tests. We can put the samples through the CASA machine, so the computer-assisted sperm analysis, and through the iSperm as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. So, so it's doing those pre-season testing. So we're starting to come to the end now. Is there, Desiree, is there anything else that you want to add if you were before the season started? Is there anything else that you want to add or think it's really important for the people that are listening today?
I think the color of the semen and the smell. Some stallions are peeing in his semen. And then most of the times, if they really pee, they are the bottle is totally full with urine. You can throw that away, but sometimes they are a couple of drops, and if you don't smell it, you don't see it, and it really can affect the semen. So the smell is it's very important. And even when the color is, if they are a little bit pink, then sometimes a stallion can be very hot, and then some blood can come in. But if you have a very bloody sample, like eoxylin, then you have to give the stallion quiet, that he doesn't collect for a couple of weeks, because yeah, that's the thing, because that really can have an infections inside, and yeah, that needs to be taken look care of. Yeah.
Good. And Bart, if there's any tips and tricks that I know we covered a lot tonight, is there anything else you would add to that to say before the season starts? What would your most important be really for preparing the stallion?
No, I think we spoke about everything. Okay.
That's good. Good.
That they feel fine. I think we have the normal thing we're talking about now today. I think we have the most of it we have spoken about.
No, good. I think we covered all the things, like you say.
One thing I want that is just what happened to me last week, and there was a young stallion, and he collected for a couple of first time, and he collects for the first time, and then he fell almost in sleep. So you have to be aware of that, because sometimes they don't know what's happening. You know, they collect and they think himself, oh, this is fantastic, like every I don't know. And then they're gonna fall down. You have to be aware of that, so that they don't fall asleep on the phantom, because then they can fall off. Yeah, you have to always be aware of that.
Yeah, they like to slip off.
Yeah.
So we've got the other thing we've just has anybody seen the iSperm? This is another way that we can actually analyze semen actually on an iPad. I know you used to use this a few times, Desiree, over there. So it's just another way. And this can actually tell you what the concentration is and what the motility is as well, all on an iPad, amazingly. Which is
I use it every day. I can't live without, I don't think. Yeah, really. It's so easy on the way. The concentration is so good.
It's very accurate.
Yeah, very accurate. And you can do the concentration together with the extender. It's a fantastic machine.
So thank you for that. We've still just got to finish off now. Don't go away, because if you want those prizes, you've got to be right.
You've got to be in it for the socks.
Got to be in it to win it.
Because I'm having them.
But again, you want the directory, it's just hot off the press. We've got hundreds of stallions in there, and we can obviously ship that out to you. Let us know. So just finishing off now, again, I've just got to thank our sponsors, NAF for sponsoring it today, Nidicom, obviously sponsoring and giving us the hats, and Minitube. The Minitube products, I say we use their products all over the lab here. So they have been really great to support us today. So Amy, if you can hear us, can you just tell us, have we got a winner tonight or winners tonight? I don't know whether you can pick them now. Who's won the lucky socks?
Oh, yeah, me.
Me. You can have one, Desiree.
Thank you, Pam.
The socks of Chloe Jones.
Chloe Jones? Socks of Chloe Jones?
Chloe coming tomorrow, Chloe.
Oh,
Is she?
I think so.
All right.
Stallion support package winners are
Drum roll.
Helen Hubbard.
Helen Hubbard, congratulations.
Claire Bartram.
Claire Bartram.
Tracy Louise Muir. Lucy Sheldrake. Shirley Light.
Shirley. Right, so wow, there's a lot of giveaways there tonight. I think there's several £100 of stuff being given away, so that's brilliant. Don't forget, open day the 23rd. So, and the charity night is Nature's Safe. I don't know whether any of you watched Sky on Sunday, but we have got a great feature on Sky News last week. And Amy's going to show a slide where if you get your phones out now, everybody's watching. I suppose you're actually watching on your phones. So it's going to be hard to get your phones out. So that was a bit of short-sightedness. If you're watching on your computer and you've got your phone beside you, there's a QR code that will come up in a second. Is it up yet, Faye? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Get your phone out and just take a snapshot of that. and it will take you straight through either to the Nature Safe page, donate, or it'll take you through to the open day where you can do it. So I say we'd like to hear your feedback, and just remember you've got Bart, Cools, and Desiree, and we're always open for people to come to us. So we get people from all over the world. Please contact us if you have any problems in stallions freezing, collecting, whatever it is. We speak to people all over the world about this quite frequently.
We'd love to come over, of course.
We'd love to come over, yes. Yeah. Especially if you live in the Maldives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we're always at the end of the telephone and email. So please contact us. Never think if you're suffering or struggling. We always would like to hear from you, and we're always there to help. And I know Bart travels all over the world doing this, Desiree does, and myself do. That's something we really enjoy. We're really passionate about. So yeah, get in touch with us because we'll love to try and help you. So feeding off this. I've really got to just thank our team tonight who behind the scenes, and it does take a lot of work putting this on. And I have to admit, one of the biggest hands really has to go to Amy. She's behind the scenes. She puts on our storyboards. There's a lot of work that we have to go through to put this on. It's not thrown together in 5 minutes. It might look it, but I promise you it's not. So a big thank you to Amy. She collates everything together. We've got the mind behind the camera, which we never see. It's Etienne. So he's got the steady hand, or the aching hand, I think, at this time of night, to film us. We've got the lovely Pam, the Oracle, who's obviously knows everything about semen and all the semen's in store. We've got Faye on the questions, as always. Get them
Still
out.
wearing a hat.
Still got the hats on. Unfortunately, EJ's gone home, but obviously thank you, EJ. And thank our expert panel, as you know, Bart, Desiree, and Kate. And obviously our sponsors. So please get in touch with us if you need anything. Send some more questions in. And we'd also love to hear what else do you want to hear? If you say, look, we want a webinar on centrifugation or how we free semen or anything like that, how we actually we can do a live collection in the collection area. We don't mind. We enjoy putting these on. So send us, tell us what you think. So really, you know, the last thanks is to you, the viewers, for logging in and making it tonight. Because if you didn't do it and log in, we wouldn't do this either. So we've had a great amount of people tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. So really, to close it from there, I think I said thank yous to everybody. Have a look at anybody else. I'm always conscious of that. Any last questions, or are we all done, Faye?
Well, we do still have some, but I think we can always just go to those after.
We try to keep it under 2 hours. Normally when these they go on and on and on. So I hope you like the new format tonight, and wishing you a good night, and hope you have a good weekend, and we'll catch up with you soon. So it's a good night from us all.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Till next time.
Bye. Bye.
Go.